I think with the film, because they actually do a very good job at highlighting that whole Trump and what the rhetoric did and how it came back and did it again. The people that I'm talking about that I think would not like the film are the ones who are not going to lean in. I could imagine or envision some resentment and some anger, right? So oh, you're making me look stupid. We're better than that. No, we're not that dumb. But at the same time, it is showing how gullible these folks were and how easily manipulated they were. And I don't think that's registering as I was easily manipulated.
Are they really gullible, or are they just vested in their
so,
self-interest?
So perhaps gullible was the wrong term.
Right,
there were some folks who were talking about how they loved what Trump just says. He said what's on our mind, and we love them. Those are the folks I think who, if they saw the film, they're not going to like it, right? They're the ones that are being highlighted, and they're the ones who I think will push back and say, no, we're not like that. That's not how it happened. We think more than that. And that's why I said I can see a group of people not liking it.
I want to ask you about your courage, or did you see this as courageous, to be able to put out a film that openly critiques a large number of white people in this country and is probably going to offend many? It seems as though you're some bad mofo. I want to know, how did you get there? What made you say, this is something I want to explore, journalistically speaking?
A few years earlier, I had done a film, and it was on, it was right after 2016, it was on the rise of contemporary anti-Semitism. And when that film came out, it was a lot of going down a lot of rabbit holes of dark corners of the internet. And so then that film wrapped, the pandemic hit, we had the summer of 2020, and it was like, these are the same, some of them originally in the earliest forms of this, it's like, these are the same characters. And so then in terms of making the film, I don't know that, as a journalist, I at a certain point, and I don't say this to sound flippant, it doesn't really matter whether people like it or not, it's just whether it's true. And my meter can't be, how are people going to react?
Amen.
The only thing I can do is say, these are the facts, and my allegiance is to what's the truth, right? Mm-hmm. That's just doing good journalism.
Right, exactly. In this particular kind of storytelling, there were certain characters that were just great. I loved Hillary Clinton's message in the movie. And there was a particular woman, Katie McHugh. She was someone who was really entrenched in the very far alt-right and moved out of that. Can you talk a little bit about that particular character? Because I saw that as a transformative journey, and whatever got her there, can others get there too?
So Katie McHugh is a young woman who grew up in a very conservative household, grew up by her own, kind of illustration, watching, right-wing television and, making racist jokes with her parents. She came out of school, went into working for Breitbart News, and was, by her admission, openly racist. She, had a Twitter account that had a lot of just openly racist content. She was, kind of rehashing articles that were basically press releases from Stephen Miller and other people who were trying to kind of inflame the boat from within, certain kind of, at that point, fringe portions of the GOP. She went through, at a certain point, a transformation, and she realized that what she was doing was wrong, and she stopped, and she left and rebuilt her whole identity from the ground up. I have tremendous respect for what she did, and speaks with us in the film from the inside about what she did with a level of candor and reflection about where she was, what she did, and then how she owns that, and how acknowledging that, and then walking forward differently, but with a full awareness of being able to articulate from the inside what she did.